Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Castlevania 3. Last episode, we crossed a rickety old bridge to get to Castlevania proper, Dracula's castle. It was a bit of a nightmare. It was covered with axe armors, which I found out really annoying enemy, unless you're fighting them under very specific circumstances. We are now in the castle courtyard. This is the final stage, despite being the first stage of the castle proper. It's the final stage of the mid-game split, where depending on whether or not you went to go and rescue Cypher, you'll either have gone on the upper path, like we did, or you'll have gone for a lower path, on which you can go and recruit Alucard. We apparently took the easier path, but it did get us Cypher, who is, I'll be entirely honest, completely irrelevant in this stage. I don't think she appears once. We're pretty much doing this entire thing as Trevor. It is a bit of a tricky stage. There's some nasty platforming, there are some nasty fights. It can be a bit of a nightmare. I have managed to get through the entire thing unscathed on one... Not unscathed. I managed to get through the entire thing with a single life on one occasion, so it is very much possible, but it is tricky, and I wouldn't recommend trying it. The good news is that I've figured out that on our first attempt, that is to say, if we don't use to continue, we're pretty much guaranteed to get an extra life at some point in the proceedings of the level, which is of course great. Makes things a lot easier. There are some nasty sections throughout. We are actually about to come up to one very quickly. I'd say there are two really nasty sections in this level where it's like just luck whether or not you take damage or not, and this early section's one of them. There's a lot of these pillar of bones where the idea is long corridor, pillars of bones, you've got to be careful with not running into them, but they're generally not that much of a threat. The axe can be useful here, but because we want to use the holy water as much as possible, we're not going to take it. And then we're going to try and throw the holy water in such a way that it kills the cycle rabbits, makes things easier on us. We didn't quite get it, so we did take damage. And we took extra damage there. We should have just gone straight ahead. We're taking a lot more damage than I would have liked here. Oh, come on! Okay, yeah, way more damage than I would have liked. There is luckily healing in an actually rather convenient location, but it's very possible that we take more damage in the build-up to it, and that does make everything a lot more complicated. You need a lot of hearts for the final fight of the level. You are going to be using your sub-weapons constantly during it as Trevor, so you do need a lot of hearts to fuel them. So it is a bit annoying if you get this far and you start taking a lot of damage. If you see the candle up there, we're going to ignore it. We just want to press forward. That drops a knife, and it is not a good tool to have. We're just going to progress forward, taking out the axe armors, which are luckily not too bad on account of the fact we've got a fully extended whip. This one takes ages to kill because they got loads of room to back away from us, but we do eventually take them out. We should have grabbed the extra heart. There's a big heart in that candle we missed, which would have been very useful, but we'll see what happens. This section might seem a bit complicated. Effectively, you need to get to the middle of this seesaw, then jump to the very top of it, and then as it's tilting down, that's when you need to jump over. It's a bit of a tricky jump, but this is a trickier one. Every single time I do it, I'm convinced I'm on the about to die, but luckily we just about made it through. This is the reason that this section's so horrible. Those whip enemies don't want the clock. That's the last thing we want, actually. They have a longer range than us, especially if we don't have a fully upgraded whip. And that's really bad, because if we die during the boss fight, we come back here, and we have to go deal with them again. And we're guaranteed to take damage. It's as simple as that. Unless you're really agile and you can figure out how to jump over them, you are taking the damage. Right, this section is not as bad as it looks. You need to stall once you get onto that platform for this one to appear, And then once you've gone so, you can get through pretty quickly. All of the guides I'm seeing are terrified of this skeleton. They're like, don't bother going and grabbing any of the candles because this skeleton will knock you away. Or rest of that. It's not as scary as to make it out to. If you just come to the arena, which you can see with the coffins there, it despawns. And you don't have to bother fighting it. Which means you can go and grab these last couple of hearts. Every last heart will benefit us in this fight. We grab a big heart there. And then this fight, we're a lot more damage than I would like, which might make things a bit trickier. But I think as long as we do it perfectly, we should be fine. Right, step 1. It's like an earlier fight, I think it was on the Ghost Ship, where we've got multiple enemies that we fought before returning in different coffins, and you gotta fight them. Mummies are first. They're not too bad to deal with. We can take them out pretty quickly, especially because we got the double shot, I realise. For this entire playthrough, I've been curious how the double shot works, and it's only now that I realise it literally lets you fire out multiple at once. I assumed it automatically fired multiple. I'm just like, why isn't it doing anything? Right, with this you want to save your heart for the final phase. So what you want to do is you never want to leave the safety of that platform. Never go beyond this point, and you're just going to let the Cyclops charge at you on occasion. And that's how you're going to do the damage. Like the mummies, this can take a while, but it's safe, and that's the main thing, because you're going to need a lot of health and a lot of hearts for the final fight of the trio, so you want to be saving all of your resources for that fight. And annoyingly, he's staying very cautious on the right side of the arena, which is making it a bit more difficult to get him. You want to make sure you're always in a position where you can jump over that middle block with the Cyclops fight, because he can walk. His hitbox is large enough that if he charges at you and you're on that smaller block there, he will hit you and you will take damage, and that's of course not great. I was hoping we could maybe get a final hit in there, but not quite. Right, this final fight, it's against something called like the Leviathan or the Monstrosity. It's a bit of a typical name, and you're just going to be firing out holy water constantly to deal maximum damage. And I think we're in good stead here. We can dodge this first set of fireballs pretty easily, and because we got the double shot, we can do a lot more damage than usual. I was going to explain a technique where you damage boost through the enemy, and that's the only way I've been able to defeat them so far. But with the double shot, we can basically double our damage and kill them before we get to that point. And that's a good thing, because I'm not sure we actually had the health to take the damage, to tank the damage. So it's very good that we were able to beat them like that. Now, with that, we are officially in the end game portion of Castlevania 3. Up until now, obviously, in the first episode, we went through the early game, and then since then, we've been making our way through the kind of the mid-game split path. If we had ignored Cypher and gone for Alucard, we would have had a completely different set of levels. But now we are in the end game. This is the point that those two paths converge once more. Whether you have Cypher, whether you've got Alucard, doesn't matter. You're always going to be coming into this level and fighting these remaining bosses and remaining enemies. I have to be entirely honest. I have played a bit of level 8. And by a bit, I mean I've pretty much run through it. It seems to be, 1, a really short level, and 2, quite an easy level, especially for this far into the game. I've seen a lot of people complain about the final boss of the level, and that is fair. It is a bit of a tricky one, but I gotta be honest, this is not that bad. If you get the right gear, this is really not that bad of a level. But that is a tale for the next episode, tomorrow, hopefully. For now, I would like to say thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Tune in next time, and ciao.